Hello, good morning. My name is Roy. I am the operations manager at ProspectNow. I see that some people are starting to join. Thanks a lot for sparing some of your time today to view this webinar for ProspectNow. We will get started shortly, pretty much promptly at 10 o'clock. So if you haven't done so already, I'm doing so right now, drinking a cup of coffee. It's 10 a.m. Pacific, or about to be 10 a.m. Pacific here where I'm at. I'm in the Bay Area, California, so still caffeinating up. So yeah, we'll give the others about 2 more minutes here so that we can get started at 10 o'clock, and we'll have a good Friday. All right, so we see more and more people are joining here. We're about a minute out from 10 a.m. I would like to start promptly and on time, just to be considerate of everyone else who arrived on time. Obviously, um, I I know I usually block off about an hour for the presentation, but I'm usually in and out in shorter time than that, usually within 30 minutes. Obviously, at the end, if there's a good number of questions, I'll be sure to address them, and obviously, cater to those with questions. But just a quick overview of what we'll be doing today. Obviously, I'll be introducing ProspectNow, showing you and telling you a brief history of the company, what we do here, and end it with a demo of ProspectNow so that you get the full experience to see exactly what we're all about, what possible value you might be able to gain from it, whether this is your first time hearing about ProspectNow. Maybe you're a returning customer. You've used ProspectNow in the past and would like to see what's different, what's changed. We would like to, welcome you back. And if you're brand new, once again, thanks for your interest. We hope to see you on board and become a ProspectNow subscriber. There is a chat feature, so if any time during the webinar, something comes across your mind and you don't want to lose track of it, you don't want to place your question later on, feel free to jot it down in the chat. I may answer it on the spot. I may answer it for later, but please feel free to utilize the chat. With that being said, we got a good number of attendees here on the webinar, so let's go ahead and get started. If you can see my screen, I should be sharing my presentation introducing an all-new ProspectNow in the chat. If someone can kindly just verify that you can see it, I can go ahead and get started right now. All right, looks like we're good to go. Awesome. Thanks again for coming to today's webinar. Thank you, Blaze, for verifying. Once again, my name is Roy. I am the Growth Operations Manager here at ProspectNow. So I handle things such as leading a webinar, handling our marketing efforts here, and basically just gaining, hoping to grow our customer base here at ProspectNow. So what is it that we do here? We are a SaaS real estate marketing platform. meaning we provide data on things such as properties, whether it be residential, commercial. We have over 140 million properties tracked within our database, 100 million owners with contact info, 30 million business contacts, as well as over 5,000 paying customers all over the United States. Some of our big names that we have on board using ProspectNow are companies such as Keller Williams Commercial, Bank of the West, Wells Fargo, BBVA, Compass, SVN, Intero, and PNC. Just to name a few, there's more out there as well. So one thing to note is that we do market ourselves as a SaaS real estate marketing platform, but we've seen customers in many different types of verticals utilize ProspectNow. Companies such as in roofing. If they need contact info, obviously we can provide that to them. Solar companies as well is a great example too of who uses our database for their marketing needs, and the list goes on. Basically, if you need contact info for owners of properties, we can be a great fit for you as well. But obviously, our bread and butter falls back to real estate. So if you are a realtor, if you are a broker, a commercial real estate, a lender, all of those, ProspectNow is a perfect solution for you. So what does successful prospecting look like? For those of you who have been doing your career for a while, I'm sure you already, are already very good at what you do. Maybe some of you just need to bring it back to basics. I'm just going to take a quick pause here because I didn't miss that. Lal has a quick question. What does SaaS stand for? SaaS, more specifically, is software that is sold as a service. So sold as a software as a service is SaaS. So that's what we are. We're an online database sold online. Bringing it back to what does successful prospecting look like? Obviously, it's 3 steps. You've all seen this before. You know what it's like. You filter for who you hope to call on. You'll be given a farm. Maybe you create your own farm in a zip code in a neighborhood. And maybe you try to predict which ones of those will be your next listing, which one will be your next deal. Most times people would just, call every single one, right? You just got to pick up the phone. You just got to send out mail to everyone, and eventually you'll fall on your next deal. And that's the last step. You market to them, right? You give them a call, and then they give you a call back, or they respond to your inquiry, and then you get the process started from there. ProspectNow's goal is to simplify that, to not only make it easier, to help you save on your costs, and to also just speed up the process of prospecting so that you spend more time, obviously making more money. So to kind of build off that, the winding road of real estate prospecting, it's a little bit different than other cold callers or other prospecting in other careers, because there's a lot of steps along the way, right? So you check your CRM. Is your info up to date? Maybe more specifically about a property that you're trying to land a listing with or a deal with, and then you do research through public records. You try to find out who the owner is. Hopefully you get the right contact info, such as a mailing address at the very least, but hopefully you get a phone number as well. And if that property is behind an LLC, kind of just moving down the road here, now you got to find out, who's behind that LLC. And that also can prove to be really tough, right? You'll get multiple names. Sometimes you'll get no names at all because the LLC is really good at, shrouding who is the true owner. And then hopefully you do get a name. Then you do research, right? Who's the true owner? Who are the tenants? And then you're hoping to get the right contact info again, right? Email, phone address. It's all just kind of like a vicious cycle. And then you get all that information to our CRM. Maybe you start marketing already, and then you find out not qualified, wrong phone number, wrong mailing address. The number doesn't even work, not interested. All that time spent just researching, on top of just marketing, right? You're marketing to everyone in the neighborhood, everyone in your farm, and then to compound that with the data failures. It can be really difficult, and it really does. It could be demotivating, right? Because you're doing all this work and it gets you nowhere. And on top of that, you have to repeat it, countless times till you eventually get the right one. Other times people rely solely on referrals. That's great and all, but obviously you want to be proactive. You want to keep your business going because that's how you make money a lot quicker, right? So yeah, if you've been doing this for a while, you're successful. You got tons of referrals. That's always good and great. But if you want to, you do, people want to supplement that with outside effort, right? Too, because that just keeps you, keeps you hungry, and it adds to your success. So what's the difference with ProspectNow? Why have we been successful? Why have we stuck around? If I didn't mention it before, ProspectNow has been around for well over 10 years now. Constantly building on our success, kind of being right now, a well-kept secret, because those who have used ProspectNow, those who have seen really quick success, great success with it, they tend to keep it to themselves because you want to keep the secret. But that's not what we want to do. We want to get our name out there. We have, again, 140 million properties, 10 million companies, true owner contact info. The secret sauce, as I would say, or the main difference with why ProspectNow is special and why we're successful is our predictive analytics. We have likely sellers and likely refinances. You may have heard this term before, maybe with other companies, maybe with other data providers that you might have researched. But I'm telling the truth when I say that. We were the first ones to do it. Ours is proprietary. Ours was built in-house. We didn't just copy and paste it elsewhere or kind of just make something up. We actually have data scientists who study the transactions of these properties nationwide every week. And it's going into an algorithm that we curated that's recognizing trends, basically, to put it. Things like similar purchase price, similar loan amounts, interest rate, how long they lived at the property, how long they owned the property, what year was the property purchased, things like that, refinance history, all of that. There's over 100 data points that are in our algorithm, and the same goes for refinances. So what does that all mean? We're able to predict which properties are most likely to sell or refinance in the coming months. So how that's going to work on the demo I'm going to show you is that you can create a list, and then from that list, it will be narrowed down. It will be sifted through to properties that are worth your time and effort. There's going to be a grading scale. You'll see it in action so that basically, and you can have confidence that instead of just showing you a list of owner names that you don't even know where to start, you just start start calling down. It'll actually be sorted by those who we believe are worth your time and effort. And on top of that, there's a ton of other features included in the database, so you'll know foreclosure history, sale and loan history, MLS listings, company data, things like the portfolio of the owner, history of the property as well. When did they buy it? When did it, transact? Things like that. There's so much, information aside from just, narrowing down your list that ProspectNow can be so useful for. And of course, the last one, property data, company data analytics gives you that advantage. So with that being said, it's time for that demo. Like I said, I keep it pretty short and sweet to the point. If you have any questions, again, if something came up, you guys are doing a good job. If there's a question that you have, just feel free to jot it down in the chat. So let me just switch gears here and switch to the right page. Should be this one. There it is. If someone can kindly just verify again that you can see my screen, it should say ProspectNow, our database. That way I know that I didn't lose you guys. And then I'll also just refresh just to be sure. There it is. Okay, cool. We should be good to go. So what you should be looking at now is the ProspectNow homepage. So again, we are a software that is sold as a service. So basically, when you subscribe to ProspectNow, you create an account, and you could simply just log on anywhere, on your desktop, on your tablet, on your phone, and you are able to, start researching. When you log on, this is the homepage you'll see. You'll see things such as, the calendar to keep your track of your appointments and whatnot. For first-time users, which is what I'm going to go through today, I typically steer them or direct them to the guided search, and that's what we're going to do today. So we'll click on the guided search, and it's a step-by-step process. It's going to show you exactly how to build your list. So what would you like to accomplish today? Let's build a list of properties. I'm going to go ahead and click next. Select the state that you're working in. For today's example, I'll choose California because I'm in California. And then you can see here the statistics of all of the different counties in California. Most of our customers work within a specific county. Other data providers out there, they'll sell you by like a zip code, for example, or a certain area or farm. We sell by the county for residential side, and on commercial side, we can sell you packages. This goes for residential as well. We can sell you like statewide packages, nationwide packages. Our subscriptions can be pretty fluid and customizable. But today I'll just focus on San Francisco, for example. Click next. And then now we can narrow it down even further, right? We chose a whole county. We could narrow it to a radius around a property. That's usually really popular because customers will choose maybe an active listing they have or a property they recently sold. And they want to build out that success, right? So they'll just build a radius around a property that they did so that they can reference it when cold calling. Say, hey, I'm the local agent here. My name is Roy. I sold the property down the street from you, right across from you. Just wanted to see if you are also interested in selling. That's the cookie cutter pitch there. You can also select the zip code if you specialize in the zip code. But today I'll just select the city again and click San Francisco. And then we can narrow it down to types of properties, right? So we could focus solely on residential. We could focus on commercial, industrial, land. It's pretty straightforward here. I'll just go ahead and select single family residence to keep things pretty straightforward. And you can see here on the left side, our number count right now. Hey, Steve, I just saw your question. Yeah, this does include commercial. So you can definitely select commercial, for example. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and focus on that. So maybe I'll do, what's a popular one? Multifamily is a good one, commercial too. So let's do multifamily. We'll do apartment, 5+. So that's a good number there, 10,000. And so if we focus on that, commercial apartments in San Francisco, now we can apply additional filters, right? Property characteristics, things like, more importantly, is our likely sellers. So if you see right now, we have over 10,000 results. And if I click on likely sellers and turn it on, we're down to 4, right? So that's what you want to see. That's actually going to help our demonstration a lot, because out of the 10,000 in the city of San Francisco, there's 4 that you like to focus on. And usually, and that seems small, but usually if you're in commercial, you're kind of working a larger area than just a specific city. Our commercial customers are usually all over the place, the whole state, even nationwide, for example. But that's good to know, because now you're not wasting your time. Out of the 10,000, we believe 4 are worth, your time. But if that seems too small, you still want to work the entire list, obviously turn it off. And then we can break it down to, who you want to work on. So let's go ahead and focus on that again. Likely sellers, there's 4. You could change it to the number of units in your list, size of the property, square footage of the lot. Owner data, you can do things such as, are they in the state, are they out of state? There's also financial data. This is also really interesting, because then you could focus on properties that were sold in a specific time frame. Maybe you only want to call on properties sold in 2017 for whatever reason. Just using that as an example. We could select a minimum purchase price. This is nice on the residential side, because then you can focus on, you're not focusing on like really low purchase price properties. If you want to focus on properties, for example, that are only $650,000, worth $650,000 and above, it's pretty simple, right? Just type it in, and then it's going to set a base sell price for your list, so that you're focused on a specific list, and then even loan information too as well. So as you can see, you can get pretty detailed. You can get pretty customized. You can create a pretty customized list here, so that for whatever reason, there's a different list for all of our customers as well. So it's not all so straightforward, but it's also catered to you as well. So with that being said, we could also save our search so that you can revisit it. You don't have to go through all the steps every single time. Just call it, Roy's list or whatever, Roy's commercial list, Roy's multifamily list, so that when it's time to bring up your search again, you can just open it up. So let's go ahead and create that search. And then pretty straightforward, right? So this is our 4 properties here in San Francisco, or the multifamily likely sellers that we created. And then you could see on the list, we have a Susan, we have a Jose, I can't pronounce that. Oh, it's Michelle. And then we have a Tom. So the likely seller's score is right next to it. It's pretty straightforward. We have 3 scores. It's high, moderate, or low. And obviously most of our customers will focus on the high. Moderate also supplements your list. I typically tell them don't even waste your time with low, because that pretty much means no. But we'll go ahead and select this property. It's owned by Susan Osterhoff. It's a pretty large property, multifamily as well. And then if you want to look up the contact info, there's 2 places. We can click Get Phone here. We can go to the Owner tab as well. And again, it's Susan. And this is her mailing address. Looks like it's owner occupied as well. I do see here, it looks like just a huge estate, apartment house, but it looks like Susan is, pretty balling here. It's probably just, and it could be weird like that. That's kind of the things you run into, in real estate, which is probably why I use this example too, just to show you full transparency. The county could classify it as an apartment. That's out of our control. Obviously, it's just a large house that has over 5 bedrooms. If I go to Jose, this actually looks more like an apartment. So let's focus on Jose just for the sake of accuracy here. Jose Chavez, moderate, so he could possibly sell it. And moderate is also a good thing, because it may not mean that he's looking to sell it right now, in the next month. Maybe it's a plan he has in the next 6 months. Then yeah, you're the first one there to get the conversation started. That's all you can really ask for, right? Kind of just be the early bird to the worm. So again, maybe we want to get in touch with Jose. His property is on 1050 Baker Street. We go to Jose. Looks like it is owner occupied, so he could be living in his own building. And if you want to get in touch with him, let's go ahead and click Get Phone. Confirm it. And by doing this, it's going to look up a preliminary phone number for you. And unfortunately, there wasn't a phone number found. But there is another step to get, even enhanced accuracy. We can do an enhanced lookup. The reason why there's 2 is because there's multiple data sources that we can pull from. The most easiest one is to do the preliminary phone number lookup. But if that doesn't work, then boom, here. Now we have multiple contact information for Jose. We even know how old he is. Maybe a range of how old he is. So he can either be 41, 43, it doesn't matter. The ballpark. And now we have multiple phone numbers for him as well. Some of these numbers match, 415-205-7413. That's his cell phone. Here's another cell phone that could be potentially his. You could see here. And then also like a residential landline. Cell phone is a very important tool, right? You would agree? Because nowadays with caller ID, if you try to cold call someone, caller ID is so powerful that if it's a number you don't recognize, your phone will even tell you if it's a cold caller, a spam call or whatever. But if it's a cell phone, you could text them, and it's a lot less intrusive, right? Because you can screen the call, you can introduce yourself. Hey, Jose, my name is Roy. I'm a commercial agent here, interested in your apartment. Do you have some time to talk? And then usually, because they were able to screen the call, and if they really are interested, they'll respond. They might even call you back, and we've been getting a lot of good feedback on that, because that's the truth. There's tools out there like a mass texting service that could obviously make this a lot more worthwhile. But if you want to just work on these one-offs here and do your own marketing, being able to text your prospects is a very useful tool. So you have Jose's contact info. You could obviously export this info, into an Excel spreadsheet to be added to your own database as well. You can look up more information about the property using these tabs. The square footage, when was it built, when was it purchased, history of the property as well. That'll all get loaded. Something really powerful about ProspectNow is that it can basically be your all-in-one service platform, not just a marketing, not just a prospecting tool, but a marketing tool as well. So if you do want to send Jose a postcard or a letter, you could actually do that inside ProspectNow. You can select the entire list. Maybe you just want to select Jose. It'll all be auto-populated when you create your mailing list, because right here on the right-hand side, I'm already hovering over it, is a send mail feature. That's a new feature built into ProspectNow. So we'll click send mail. I have a couple of templates already built out, but if you want to build one from scratch, you can send add letter, and it'll bring you to a letter builder that you can customize with your own body of work. You can use a template. You can upload a template as well. The address of the owner and the name of the owner will all be auto-populated, so you don't have to worry about that all too much. And then you can also create a postcard. And then there's the prices of a postcard. It's $1. Name the postcard, for example, test. Send a 4x6. It'll be in color. And then we could choose a template. You could upload your own if you already have your own. And then, for example, it's a multifamily, right, for Jose. So maybe I could click one that looks like an apartment. So thinking of selling your commercial property, you can customize the text, selling your apartment, for example, just to keep things really straightforward. And then you could put a subheading as well. If you're happy with that, go ahead and click next. And on the other side, you can enter in an optional message about yourself or, any questions you may have. And then you can also customize the address of the property as well, or enter in your own property as well. But typically, it's just going to auto-populate from your list. And then once it's all complete, save and complete the process, and then you'll be good to go. That's it. For customers who've been using our database for a while, they can literally create a list, select who they want to send mail to, and then finalize the sending of their postcards and letters well within 2 minutes. It can be that quick. So let's bring it back to our list. There's a couple questions here. Alan says, do you limit the number of agents within an area to prospect? No, we don't sell exclusivity. Our product is available nationwide, so very rarely. And then on top of that, they're narrowed down to a specific area on the state, whether it be a couple counties, that there's very little overlap. Very rarely do we get any customers calling like, hey, I ran into another client who's been getting cold called by someone else using ProspectNow. So really, it's nothing to worry about. Steve asks, how do you get properties to load to ProspectNow? You just create your list using the guided search that I showed you. You can enter an address as well in the top left. If you just type it in 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see here it starts to auto-populate. These are like in San Jose. You can enter in. There's more filters here at the top right. Get your list created there. And then are the properties that are submitted to you, are you researching properties to add to it? Yes. So our database is updated daily. Our likely scoring is updated weekly. So we have multiple data sources that we have basically agreements with, NDAs with, that are feeding their data into ProspectNow. So that's why ProspectNow is so powerful. We're not just creating our own data. We're actually sorting and retrieving them from multiple sources to compare accuracy, and also that adds to our accuracy as well, because we're not putting all our eggs into one basket. And then Mike says, can you teach on how to get properties that just sold? Yeah, that's really easy. Actually, you just go to more filters. I'll just really show this really quickly. And then listing status, sold. Ta-da. Pretty straightforward. You could also, there's another area here. If you go down, there's a sales date filter as well. Let me just find it. Loan date. Where did it go? Oh, I think I just passed it. It's also here. MLS sold date. And then you could do that as well. For commercial, there's also an area too, years sold, that you can enter in as well. Oh yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. That's how you do that. And so with that being said, yeah, you can see here, ProspectNow is really straightforward. If for any reason you need support, when you decide to use ProspectNow, pretty easy, right? Top right, support button. There's a chat feature here. You can ask anyone a question if you get stuck. And then, they'll be happy to assist you in everything, creating your list. Maybe there's some troubleshooting. Maybe you can't find the contact info of people on your list. It's all there. So that's a testament to our success and why customers subscribe and use ProspectNow, because we don't just take your money and then leave you to fend for yourself. We're here to make sure that you gain success using ProspectNow. And then one of the positive feedbacks we get is the user friendliness of it. It's really easy, right? It's I did like a 30-minute demo on it, but really most customers are able to understand and get started within minutes, because it's kind of like just using Google Maps, right? You could get started, go to the property searches where I went to bring this back, click search here, and then you could see here that the list will be updated like so. Now we're looking at different properties on the list. Just click on them. This is outside of just daily use of ProspectNow. It's pretty fun, right? Just kind of go down there. If you want to know who your neighbor is, search your address and then click search around. You can see here, who owns the property. You can even draw on the map. That's also a very popular feature here. This squiggly line right here. Some customers like to get really creative and they want to draw and block off like a specific, pentagon around here somewhere. That's fun. You could do that, draw an area, and then we'll bring up properties in that list as well. Steve is asking, what about properties that are for sale now? Same way, more filters. Currently listed is a way to do that. Can you send emails to a list just like postcards? Not within our database. Emails is a different function, but you can export the list into an Excel spreadsheet that will include the emails of the properties that we have emails for. And then most customers have like a third-party emailing service that's pretty inexpensive. And then they'll just give the email address as their on that end to fulfill their marketing. But that's one of the exciting and powerful features of ProspectNow, so you can export our data. You're already a paid customer, so we allow you to do that. So if you want to export, pretty straightforward. Select 3 or how many records, the whole list if you even want. 25 in this list, 100 on this page. Click export, and if you do so, it's gonna include the phone number, include the email address, things like that. You can name the export so that data is yours. Once you subscribe, you export the data. That's yours forever. We can't take it back. It's already in your files, right? So that's yours for the taking, and then you can add it to your own database. What % of properties have email addresses? That's tough. Because our service is nationwide, the percentage of success is always different. If I'm being like brutally honest, our email success rate in larger populated states like California, Florida, and New York, you name it, Washington, Oregon, those are going to yield pretty high successes. If you're unfamiliar with it, emails are always tough because the blunt truth is that people make fake email addresses. I myself have like 7, and rarely ever do I put my real email addresses for things because obviously I want to keep that info to myself. But with that being said, we have a pretty good return rate. If I even just click on one here, I can't really put a number on it because it's gonna vary. But if I click get phone, confirm it. You can also click get email, but I'm just gonna show you another way because that's pretty straightforward. No property, no record found, right? But if I enhance the lookup and click reveal, we have Michael R. Jackson. Let's see here. This one did not yield one, so let's just go down the list. I'll show you what it's like to pretty much use ProspectNow. We'll look up a phone number for Stacy Coleman. Nothing there. And then here's a good one. Stacy J. Coleman. And then here's our email address. stacy.johnston@alltel.net. And then we got a couple phone numbers. More importantly, her cell phone number, her age. And then it looks like another person who might be related, maybe a husband, maybe a brother, cousin, uncle, you name it. He also has a email address there as well. If a property is for sale on LoopNet or Craigslist, would it be on your site? Yeah, if you know the address of it, just type in the address, and then we'll be able to locate that property as well. So yeah, good amount of questions here. I like that it's coming in. That shows interest. Definitely keep it coming. But obviously, I want to thank you for your time as well. We're about 30 minutes in, and you've pretty much seen what ProspectNow can do, or hopefully it's applicable to you. I would recommend, if you really are interested in ProspectNow, to schedule a live demo for yourself. I kept things pretty broad here. Obviously, I'm sure everyone here is located somewhere else, Texas, Virginia, things like that. So I would definitely encourage you calling in or emailing us to schedule a live demo so that you can really see how it will work in how it would work in your specific area. And then we could also, again, we have multiple packages. Depending if you're residential or commercial, we can customize the package as well so that you really are paying for what you just need. You're not overpaying or anything like that. And really, for the amount of accurate data you get versus what you'll be investing. If you could get one deal out of ProspectNow for what you pay for, it'll pay for itself 10 times over. I tell my customers all the time. That's their feedback too as well. If they invest for Prospect Now for a year, they get one deal out of it. That investment cost was pretty much, washed out because being able to find one or two deals, quickly, instead of later down the road, is always very powerful. Do we get something with CCIM membership from Katie? We are actually in conversations with CCIM in order to get you guys a discount. Nothing as of yet, to be honest, but that is something that we are working on. Let's see, what's the accuracy of cell phones? Cell phones are always pretty accurate. I actually have 100% confidence in our cell phones when we get that. Obviously, no one can be perfect. There's going to be ones that fall through the crack, and it could be a wrong number. But if it shows you that it's a cell phone, it's better than a landline, that's for sure. So I would have a lot of confidence if when you look up a contact info for an owner and it shows you a cell phone. I'm excited. I'm good. Like that's all I wanted to see, and our database has been proven to do that. I even looked at myself. I own a property here in California, and my own information is on our database as well. Alan asks, is there a discount for KCM? Unfortunately, I'm not. But it's the holidays. I would also encourage calling in now because it is the holidays. We're trying to close our year strong. Talk to a sales rep. They might be able to pull some strings with you. I'm not making any promises here, but create a relationship there. Maybe ask for an early Black Friday deal or something. I don't know. But again, like I said, our packages can be pretty customizable, and most customers are looking to probably invest now because the year's coming. Taxes are coming up too. Other companies, they have some funding that they need to get rid of by the end of the year, so they'll buy Prospect Now for their team, things like that. So if you're looking and you're in the market for a database now, the end of the year, I would recommend. Versus looking for something in January and February when people are already hitting the ground running and you're still kind of scrambling looking for something to use to get into the new year. And so with that being said, that's about my presentation for Prospect Now. I do have one more page to show you that I would also recommend that you take a screenshot of. Let's see here. It's our Contact Us page. So, just take a screenshot, take a picture with your phone, visit Prospect Now if you want to get started, or if you want more information, obviously, call us at 888-956-9998. It's toll free. Don't worry about it. You'll be directed to someone live on the phone. Schedule a demonstration, please. That's all I can really ask for, unless you're interested in Prospect Now. As of now, then go ahead and call in. Send an email to sales@prospectnow.com for more information. You can also email me directly, reference the webinar. If this is your first time trying Prospect Now, we'll give you a 7-day free trial. Usually it's 3 days. That's usually the maximum we'll give anyone on our website. But as a little thank you for spending some time with us on my webinar and learning about it, we'll do you a solid and give you a 7-day free trial. You'll be able to create your account, get a couple, contacts, start looking up information as well during your 7 days. Basically get a couple free leads out of it to, really test out the product and see, what it can possibly do for you. But again, I definitely do encourage you to please, at least inquire more, at least schedule a live demo for yourself so that you can see how the database works in your specific area as well. So yeah, that about wraps it up for me. If you wish to stick around, if you have any other questions, I'll give you about 5 more minutes. Just type it in the chat. But with that being said, thanks again for your time. My name is Roy. I'm the Growth Operations Manager here. Have a good weekend. Have a good Thanksgiving next week. Happy holidays, and make it a good Friday. Thank you, everyone. Take care. And so just double checking here to see if there's any new questions in the chat. You're welcome, Cephas. Have a good one. Thank you also, Blaze, Penturo. Have a good day. I can finally take a sip of my coffee. All that talking made me so thirsty. Appreciate the kind words. Being on a webinar is always kind of tough. You're talking to a screen. I wish I could talk to live people. That'd be fun, but times we live in, right? Hey, Katie. Yes, sorry that you missed the first 15 minutes. A replay of my webinar will be emailed out to you as well. So no worries about that. You'll get a replay usually within 24 hours. If you don't, for whatever reason, again, use the contact page. Let us know, and then we can resend that to you. Or better yet, like I said, you'll get a personal demo. Yep. Is it best to just schedule a one-on-one? Just like I said, it is probably best to schedule a one-on-one. Get your specific questions answered. No worries, no worries. That happens quite a bit. People would just kind of use me as a podcast as they're doing other work. So no worries there. Appreciate it. Yep. Thanks, Katie. Have a great weekend. Do you get all the info from exporting property deals? No. As you might have seen in our database, CFIS, we'll have info on basically any property, whether it's on the market or off market. We'll get info if they are on the, if they're currently being dealt, maybe they're, currently listed or they're in contract, things like that. You'll see in our database, but realistically, we have, like I said, multiple data providers that we have contracts with, and they're feeding their information into our database. So not just property deals, properties that are currently off market. If you really just, real estate prospecting is very creative, right? Maybe there's a property that they own, but they live elsewhere because it's not non-occupied. Then of course you have to find the property, and that property may not be, on the market, but that's where they live. So you gotta find their contact info, right? So being able to have that, that power to have every single property, basically at your fingertips using our database is a good resource. So yeah, I know that was a long-winded answer, but short answer is not just property deals. All right, I hit the 10:40 mark. Give it a couple minutes. Thanks again for everyone's time. If there's any other questions I might have missed or just didn't get a chance to get to, again, contact us. Take a picture of this contact page. Let us know, and we'd be more than happy to help. With that being said, again, have a great day, everyone. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. Have a good Thanksgiving. And I'll see you guys next time.